sheeple, lazy and evil. For years I've watched y'all allow Donald Trump turn you to crazy people. Where's that freedom eagle when you...
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. We're talking about AEW Rampage from January the 14th, 2022. And we got the debut of the acclaimed rap video, which coincides almost perfectly with AEW announcing they're going to be doing a hip-hop album. For starters, if anybody tells you they're doing a hip-hop album and not a rap album, you should already be a little on the weird side. Almost nobody calls it hip-hop anymore because there really almost is no hip-hop anymore. Unless DJ Premier or Madlib or something like that is going to be doing the production. Unless it's Ninth Wonder, it's going to be some boom bap shit. It's probably going to be rap. And it's probably not going to be good. So let's talk about this first before we even get into the horror show that was Rampage. So what is this from? This is from, I don't know. Doesn't matter. AEW is planning to release hip-hop album to be released Black History Month in February. AEW coach commentator Mark Henry commented on the project during the interview with Danny Ocean of the Hot FM. Quote, AEW is going to come out with during Black History Month, there's a hip-hop compilation that's being put together right now. And I think the world is really, really going to love. I always like to see people in our industry cross-brand and reach out to do things that was not expected of them. AEW composer Mikey Ruckus then provided more details on Twitter, noting that there will be tracks from Leo Rush, Max Caster, Sonny Kiss, Isaiah Cassidy, and others. Ruckus noted the project has been in the works for a while and that the 100% of the proceeds from the limited commemorative CD will go to charity. They're going to make a CD in the year of our Lord 2022. An actual compact disc that you can put in your Walkman. This is great. This is great. Some context. This has been in the works for a while. To give a better understanding, I assembled many familiar producers, musicians, rappers, artists within our pro wrestling space to come together and make amazing music that tells the stories of our black talent. This is a celebration of black excellence. It is pure, authentic storytelling, each star getting an original song written about their come-up. We will have a limited commemorative CD for purchase with 100 proceeds of going to charity. You will hear music made by Leo Rush, Max Caster, Sonny Kiss, Isaiah Cassidy, some other guys. People don't put their goddamn names in their Twitter handles. I was reading Twitter handles there. So I don't know who those guys are. I have no idea who those guys are. And that was all about Ruckus. He added in the follow-up tweet, yes, absolutely, Montezzi Jones, is a part of this as well. I thought his name was initially in the group, but I missed it. The tracks he has submitted are absolute fire emoji. Podcast host Will Washington also revealed that he is involved with the project, writing, quote, guess the cat's out of the bag. Some of you know that music and production are some of my passions, and when I was asked to be involved in doing something special to highlight black talent and saw who else was involved, it was a no-brainer. All right. This is like when Bobby Shmurda jumped on that desk and started dancing for all those white people in the record studio. So because they're black, they have to be rappers. Like, does nobody like funk? Nobody can play the guitar or the piano, or nobody wants to be James Brown or something like that. Like, it has to be rap. Is this how you're supposed to show off your diversity? We have so many black talents. They're going to rap for us. Hip hop, hippie to the hip hop, and you don't stop. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? This is like when they had heels, right? And it ended up being this $50 thing for female fans. to try to prove that they are diverse, they're gonna they're gonna have a fandom just for women, only for women, so that nobody could bother them or whatever. Man, this is horrific, bro. This is terrible. I saw so many people trying to say that this is going to be like when the WWE did their music album or whatever. Or the what was that compilation CD WWE did? I forget what it's called. It was like during the Ruthless Aggression era, and they Kurt Angle had a rap song or something like that. It was crazy, man. I'm trying to figure out what the name of that album was. It was called Aggression, I think. It was for the Ruthless Aggression era or the late stage Attitude era. Man, what? See, here's the thing about that. Here's how it's different. When you look at the Aggression thing, it was basically 2000. WWE is trying to fold into pop culture. So WWE is trying to do a pop culture thing. So and rap was blowing up. It wasn't the number one genre on planet Earth like it is now. But you could see that it had the voice of the young people, and it had the ear of the young people. And everywhere you turned around, rap was becoming a bigger and bigger deal. And WWF was trying to do things with MTV. This was, I think, around the same time they started Sunday Night Heat, and they were doing stuff with MTV. And MTV always had this death grip on the 18 to 25 demographic. You know, it was even at the point where, again, MTV would fire people who turned 30. They didn't want any old people on their shows. And you were 30, you were kicked off of MTV. You know, men or women. But they, of course, people only noticed when it was women. So you had that kind of mentality that was going into the making of that album. It was supposed to be a product of its time. You know, it was never meant to be the showcase for all of their black talent. You know, what, and you know, this money is going to like Black Lives Matter or something like that, right? So, so this what makes it all funny because it's like to showcase our black talent. We're not gonna have them wrestle in the ring like everybody else. We're gonna let them rap, and they're going to rap to you about how great they are. You're not going to actually be able to see it because if you actually saw some of these people wrestle, you'd be disgusted and be upset. Because for great God Almighty, great Googity Moogity, if you actually have some of these Negroes wrestle, you might not like them too much. So maybe if they rap, maybe if they dance on the dance on the tables, I'm disgusted by this. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. This is absurd. All right. It's. I'm not gonna. I'm just trying to figure out what were they thinking. What were they thinking? Did they really sit around? Is this what Big Swole was talking about when she was talking about we're not being very well represented? Because I got to tell you, dog, it's one thing if somebody likes rap music. I mean, you could like rap music and say I want to do my own theme song. Keith Lee did his own theme song. He rapped, you know. And he made his own theme song for WWE. And sometimes guys do that. You know, Hit Row did their own thing. They were rapping. But my whole thing is, just because they're black doesn't mean they like rap. Some black people like jazz. Some black people like funk. Why couldn't it just be a music compilation of, you know, everybody talks about dude that does their favorite musical thing. And therefore, you know, somebody who might like rock music a little bit more gets to do rock music. You know, why not? Why does it have to be a rap compilation? Why? Because they're niggers? Come on, man. You got to do better than this, Tony Khan. Oh my goodness. To make this even funnier, I just found out the other day that Shad Khan, the father of Tony Khan, actually owns the Black News Channel. I don't know if you guys know this exists, so let's read this from Jacksonville.com. Jacksonville Jaguars owner Shad Khan will be the majority investor in the Black News Channel, which debuts on November the 15th to an estimated 33 million cable and satellite households in the U.S. This is from October of 2019, October 2nd, 2019. The network was founded by former Oklahoma Congressman and University of Oklahoma quarterback J.C. Watts. It will be minority owned and the nation's only provider of around-the-clock cable news programming dedicated to covering the perspective of African American communities. The audacity of these people. The audacity of these people. Look, don't make me put my kufi on, all right? Because I try to keep the kufi off on this channel. But non-black people owning black network and black media don't always sit that well with me, all right? Because this is when we get shit like, we're going to have a rap album for all the blacks. And you get shit like The Root. It all just stereotypes black people into the poor, woe is me. We need to have our own media as long as we don't have our own media, meaning we don't actually own it. Because if black people actually own it, it might actually look differently than they want it to look. But then if it is owned by black people, it has to be owned by certain black people who push a certain perspective. And let me take my kufi off real quick. All right, so kufi off. We're talking about wrestling here. If you think I'm not going to listen to this album to laugh and to bring you grade A entertainment off this shit, you're a motherfucking fool. I am listening to this album. This album will be heard by me. Will I buy it? Absolutely not. I am not going to give money to like Black Lives Matter or something like that because I know that's where this money's going. To black trans women or some shit. We're not doing that. But I will do a breakdown of this album because it will be available eventually on YouTube or, download somewhere because we need to get into this. Matter of fact, I should just do a music review, like a wrestling albums review kind of thing. That would be fun, that would be fun. I would have to actually look them up, but, maybe I'll consider doing that as far as the series is concerned. But this is going to be hilarious. This is going to be, will it be successful? I don't know. It depends on what your definition of success is. There's probably going to be a bunch of super fans who are going to go out there and buy it and probably hope to get it autographed or something at a show, which will probably increase the value of it. But I have zero interest in any of the songs on this thing. And to be quite honest, even if it turns out to be good, it still doesn't need to be made. That's the thing that's really tripping me out. Even if it's good, it doesn't need to be made. All right? Just don't make it. Just don't do this. Just don't. Don't. But, oh God, it's already done. The damage is already done. And the damage is done in terms of Rampage too. Let's get into that show. We start out with Adam Cole, baby. He's wrestling Trent Beretta. The crews brawled outside the ring and fought off. Adam Cole defeated Trent Beretta with the boom drop, the knee to the back of the head. I was like, it wasn't terrible. Trent is the least bad of all of these guys, but I just found myself uninterested in Adam Cole and Trent Beretta. It just felt like these guys are attached to the hip and they're not getting anything out of it. Adam Cole is winning these matches and it's like, so what? He's winning this match, and so what? What's next? He's going to wrestle the flabby Chuck Taylor. He beats him, so what? What's the end game to this? What's the end goal to this? How do we get out of this mess? I don't know. Then if you thought that the Juice Crew wasn't bad enough, Shawn Spears was next. Oh my word. Shawn Spears versus Andrew Everett, who I'm sure I've seen before, maybe in Ring of Honor, maybe in Evolve. He might even been on NXT. Anyway, Andrew Everett is out there in a single strap tights. Like he's fucking Andre the Giant. He looks ridiculous. Shawn Spears beats him in literally like 3 seconds with the C4, which is the Death Valley Driver. Then Shawn Spears questions whether CM Punk is really the best in the world. Says that he is the real one that was never supposed to make it. They said he wasn't marketable. He said he didn't know who he is. He says, I know exactly who I am. And then says he's a 20-year vet, not some greenhorn with one move to his name. And that 7 years off is far too long to beat him. And I'm just saying to myself, there's a disconnect between what AEW thinks Shawn Spears is and what everybody knows Shawn Spears to be, right? They're treating Shawn Spears as if he's this big deal. Like he's, a burgeoning superstar. It's like Shawn Spears was good for a cup of coffee because people chanted 10, right? 10, 10, 10. That's it. He was over because people like to chant 10. People are not chanting 10 at him anymore. Nobody chants anything at him anymore. Nobody wants to see him. Nobody cares about him. Nobody cares about how long he's been in the business. I get that he had his little shot at Wardlow, and you can see Wardlow behind him. They did a good job with this shot, by the way. Give him some credit. As Shawn Spears was talking to the camera, you could see beyond him, you could see Wardlow in the back. And as he says that, he's not some greenhorn or whatever with one move, Wardlow kind of chuckled like, whatever. Kind of like he just took it on the chin, like, all right, whatever. And but he knows that, he could destroy Shawn Spears, but he didn't get mad. He just kind of laughed it off. But going back to what I was saying, like this disconnect between what AEW thinks that people care about Shawn Spears, but nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. Like you can hear a child piss in their own diaper, and that will get a louder reaction than Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears is awful. He's everything bad with pro wrestling. He still has a mohawk, right? If I were running AEW as a responsible human being, he would get the Jazzy Jeff treatment every time he showed up to work. He come in the front door, we Jazzy Jeff that motherfucker right out the back door. Just get him the fuck out of here. What do we need him for? What value does he bring to your channel, to your network, to your show? Nothing. He brings nothing. He's no threat. If Punk doesn't beat this guy in 22 seconds, then we know that AEW is full of shit. If this match goes 10 minutes, I will probably stand on a table and scream if this match goes 10 minutes. There is no excuse for Shawn Spears to ever be in the ring with CM Punk for longer than a minute and a half. And he shouldn't really be doing nothing but scrubbing the ring after CM Punk gets out of it. That really should be his job, is to scrub the ropes after CM Punk gets out of the ring. Right? Because nobody wants to watch Shawn Spears under any circumstances. Even if I was a hostage, I wouldn't want to watch Shawn Spears. Let's move on. The Acclaim did their diss rap where they talked about Darby and Sting. This was pretty weak. They had a couple of jokes about Darby being homeless and sleeping in his car, and how he was making fake sex stories. And Sting, of course, Sting is an old man with a bat and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I get it. I understand it. I don't mind it. But it wasn't very good. It just existed for me. It wasn't horrible to the point where I could sit and point and laugh at it. But it wasn't good. I think somebody threw a scooter through a window in this video. And I was like, why? What's up with all these scooters in wrestling now? Can we not do that? Can we reconsider the scooter involvement in this thing? I don't know. I didn't get it. I didn't care. And I really could not have cared less about the next match either. Chris Statlander, Layla Hirsch, Red Velvet versus Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, and the Bunny. This went on entirely too long. Bruh. This match was so long. This match was long as shit. It probably was 10 minutes, and I still was like, this is so long. This sucked so bad. They're trying to tell the story of Chris Statlander and Layla Hirsch breaking up and not being friends anymore. The Bunny rolled up Layla Hirsch, and she lost the match, but, of course she's going to blame that loss on Chris Statlander. This made me wish that WWE booking was in AEW. Because I was like, WWE would have had this whole match and it would have been 5 seconds. It would have been 90 seconds. And it probably would have told the same story in 90 seconds. Because WWE doesn't give a fuck. And AEW tries to make everybody happy, ends up making nobody happy. They didn't give them any entrances, so nobody cared. Nobody got introduced, so nobody cares. And this was all just a huge waste of time. This was huge. Ugh. This makes me want to Earl. All right, Ethan Page is taking credit for Cody getting out of there. Who cares? Scorpio Sky still says he's the face of TNT. He hasn't lost in 300 days. He had a nice little fiery promo right here. But it's hard to get anybody to care about him. He doesn't do anything important. I don't care if you haven't been beaten in 300 days. You know, you haven't beaten anybody. You haven't done anything. Nothing fucking matters. This sucks. Ricky Starks have been on commentary all night taking shots at Jay Lethal. And he was upset that Jay Lethal had put his nose in Team Taz's business. And he says, like, you don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't piss off Ricky Starks. You don't get in Team Taz's business. Just let Jay Lethal to come out there. Jay Lethal said that he'd been watching over the last 2 months about what's going on with Team Taz and Dante Martin. And said this stuff is making him sick. And that Ricky Starks doesn't wrestle that often, that he cares more about how he looks than he cares about the FTW Championship. And he says maybe because the FTW Championship isn't recognized by this organization, but says since it doesn't matter, it only means something to you. And since it means something to you, I'm going to take it from you. And he says, whatever Taz or Daddy tells you to do the opposite. And accept my challenge for the FTW Championship. And Taz is yelling about not caring about Ring of Honor, not caring about Jay Lethal. He's not FTW Championship material. It's Jay Lethal is not FTW Championship material. He's not championship material for a fake championship that does not mean anything. Okay. All right, that's a nice little dig. But I guess they heard that people were complaining about Jay Lethal. And so they decided to do something with him. This is fine, but Dante Martin has had as many mentors as he has facial expressions on this show. Right? This is like his fourth mentor, man. Like he's been literally passed around. Like, we can't do anything with him. You take him. I can't get anything out of this kid. You take him. This is perfect because Jay Lethal is a well-known trainer. He used to help run the ROH dojo. So, he can literally teach Dante Martin a thing or two, but Dante Martin actually has to, implement these things. And even though for him, it's just kind of jump everywhere, do everything. Jay Lethal versus Ricky Starks. I like that idea though. That's can't miss right there. I love that. I wish it had more stakes to it though. The FTW Championship. I guess Jay Lethal just wins it and then does what with it? Just kind of has it, loses it to Hobbs. Maybe that'd be a nice way of Hobbs finally doing something. And you have Jay Lethal beat Ricky Starks for the FTW title. And then he holds it for maybe a couple of weeks, and then he loses it to Hobbs, and now Hobbs is the FTW champion. As a way of transitioning it away from Ricky Starks, who hasn't been doing much with anything anyway, and doesn't really need it because he can cut promos. And the whole point of an FTW title is it's sort of like Jorge Masvidal's BMF title. It's like for the ballsy motherfucker who is the baddest dude in the room, but is not the world champion. For Ricky Starks is a piece of jewelry. For Hobbs or somebody like Cage, it could have been like a sign of pride. Now it is stolen valor, of course, where you're not really a real champion. But it's almost like a placeholder where, I will be a real champion, but this is all about honor and pride and all that kind of stuff. And Will Hobbs could really use something like that. So here's hoping Jay Lethal beats Ricky Starks for that belt and then loses it to Hobbs. That would be sweet, But Ricky Starks versus Jay Lethal on its own is fun. I like that idea. That's the only good thing about this show. The only good thing about this show is that we're going to end up getting Ricky Starks versus Jay Lethal at some point. And hopefully it's on Dynamite and not on Rampage, because I would hate for it to get spoiled. But hopefully we can get that match cracking. I like that. The main event of the evening is the Jurassic Express versus the Dark Order for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Dark Order break out Kazoos and mock Christian. And I'm just kind of like, I hate the Dark Order so much. I really wanted to just turn this off right now. I knew they weren't going to win. I didn't really see the benefit in watching this, but I watched it anyway. It was exactly everything that I thought it would be. But Christian says that, he thought it was cute that they were trying to mock him with the kazoos. But he says that, look, I made kazoos iconic. But wait till you can see what I could do with some real talent like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, which I thought was great. It was a great little turn of phrase on them, made the Dark Order look silly for not taking this thing seriously, which they never do. They never take anything seriously. Of course, Jurassic Express just win the match because, why would they ever lose the titles to the Dark Order? And who the fuck? The Dark Order, they suck. I don't care what y'all say about John Silver. He's shits. He's goofy. That's not charisma. Goofiness is not charisma. Those two things are not the same thing, right? He's just goofy. That's not charisma. It's personality, but it's not charisma. Lex Luger was charismatic, but he didn't have much of a personality. Charisma is all about, people wanting to be like you, look like you, adoring you. A lot of women have charisma, but they don't really have much in the way of personality. And that's how, beautiful women get over. Because Sable had a lot of charisma. She didn't have much in the way of personality, though. So it's not the same thing. And this guy has personality, but he's a goofball, He's like, the class clown or something, this John Silver dude. The kind of guy who probably walks down the street with, like, reindeer antlers and shit on his head. It's like, come on, man. Fuck this guy. Fuck this show. Everything about this is a tragedy. It's an abomination to the pro wrestling. I don't know why y'all watching this stuff. I don't know why I'm watching this stuff. Hopefully, it gets better. Hopefully, we can find something good, which was the Ricky Starks and Jay Lethal match that's going to come out of this. I feel bad for Adam Cole. I really do. He's stuck in this situation with this super group. He's just one of many, all interchangeable, same looking fucking guys. And he's not standing out at all. He seems to be playing games more than he's actually doing anything else now. It's like, he probably makes a ton of money on Twitch and now doesn't even go to the gym anymore. Because why? Why does he need to? He just sit around his PJs and drinking orange juice. I mean, he's young. He's got a pretty cute looking girlfriend. There's no need to go out and clang and bang and get all big and, try to stand out and look good. Nobody cares. Everybody's the same on this show anyway. Everybody's a goofball. I would love for somebody to take something seriously around here. That's the good thing about Starks and Lethal is they seem to take something silly like the SGW Championship and take it seriously. Everybody else is joking about everything else. And it's the same thing with WWE. Everything is a fucking joke. Everything's a laugh at matter. It's like there's no seriousness at all to this shit anymore. That's the one thing Danielson was bringing. He was kind of making things fun and funny a little bit, but ultimately he was serious. In this shit, nobody's serious. This main event was full of 4 comedy fucking goofs. Jungle Boy can't be serious because he's too fucking small. The Luchasaurus is literally a fucking dinosaur guy in a mask. And you got Dark Order playing kazoos and being wild and crazy guys. I'm like, ugh, it's like Dumb and Dumber ×4. This fucking sucks. They're probably better off with the rap album now that I think about it. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace.
MagMongoSlade. Best house I ever drew, Daddy.